Welcome to the Honors College Podcast with Honors. I'm Max Sandlin, and I have two guests today with me to help answer this question from Jacob Craig.
My question is, how has dating changed from past generations to this generation?
So I needed someone who was here a little before me at Harding, but knew a lot about dating and the social scene. And then I'll speak to what it was like when I was here. And then I wanted someone who was a contemporary person who had really, done the social scene at Harding. And so I've got two guests today, Reed Wilson and Robin Maynard. Can you guys introduce yourself and tell us your graduation year?
I am Robin Maynard, and I graduated in 1989.
1989. And Robin, what do you do at Harding now?
I am Chief Compliance and Legal Officer, but I am a lot more fun than my title suggests.
And if you are a student listening to this and say, I don't know what compliance and legal officer means, Robin is the school lawyer. And
right.
She keeps us from getting in trouble and getting sued
Hopefully.
and stuff.
That's right.
That's
hopefully.
her job.
That's my job.
She mostly keeps an eye on me, I would say.
That's
the biggest
a big
legal
job.
risk for the university.
A very big job.
Well, I graduated in 2002. So what's that? About 13 years.
I would say that's quite a span.
And then Reed?
I will be graduating in May, so 2026.
If you don't blow it.
If I don't blow it, which it's looking kind of questionable. So we'll see.
Did you, Robin, when you came here, what would that have been, 86 or something, right?
Fall of 86.
Okay. In 1986, you came here and you already had a string of boyfriends, I guess, that,
We're obsessed.
yeah, like just people back home in Minnesota weeping, their tears freezing to their wind-chapped faces.
I would not describe it like that. I did have a relationship who may or may not be my current husband.
No, were you dating him already?
No, just listen. It's not going to, it's very exciting. It's very interesting. He was a senior at Harding, and I came to Harding a year early because my parents, long story.
Whoa, Paul was a senior.
Paul was a
high school girl?
Yes, but we had met.
The honor students are scandalized at this point.
I'm sorry. But he actually had a girlfriend when I came, but we had also talked over all the years that someday we would get married if we were ever, or when we were ever in the same place for any amount of time to date.
Because y'all were high school friends.
Because we had been friends, for a number of years from youth group in Minnesota.
Okay, so you come here, and did you date anybody besides Paul?
I did. We had an agreement that even with no girlfriend or other boyfriends, that I would take at least a semester, maybe a year, to just date around. So I actually showed up, back then we had registration and then student impact. What do you call it now? Student impact?
Stampede.
Stampede, yes. So we had our version of Stampede, and I sort of made a list.
Like you wrote it down?
Terrible. Yes, kind of embarrassing. So I had like this list of people like, hey, here's who I'm going to date. I have a semester, maybe a year to see how everything shakes out. And that's what I did.
And so did you just did you rank them?
Did you have a red pen?
That's what
I did not necessarily have a red pen, but I did have this list. And one was like number 62 on the football team.
Oh,
And
I thought it was number 62 on the list.
No.
Like
it was not. It was not very long. The list was not that long. I don't know. It was probably around 8, 10. I don't know. But it all worked out. I actually think I dated at least a date, but it was very, very different back then. So you Reed, you will speak to this, and I have no idea, Mac, what it was like when you were here. Yeah. When I was
Mac
here,
doesn't either.
We dated a lot. So you might go on 3 or 4 dates in a week. It was very common. It wasn't, and you would date people's friends, and you would. It was actually a good thing.
You guys didn't get jealous about that kind of stuff? I'm trying to imagine, like, Reed, when you hear that 3, 4 dates with different people in a week, how do you respond to that, and how does your generation respond to that?
Well, So I'm engaged now, and my fiance was one of the 3 people I went on 3 dates in 1 week, and he was one of those 3, like that first date.
You were doing it 1980s style.
Well, yeah, I like it. I knew I liked it.
And so that was really fun for me, but everyone was very not like mad at me or anything, but that was very abnormal. Like people were uncomfortable with that, and it was weird.
I remember I had a student once, I won't say his name, but he was like, he had been in a long relationship, thought he was going to get engaged. They broke up, and then he was like, okay, what am I going to do? You know, he had some time to, but he was like about to start dating again. And he had like 3 or 4, he was kind of like you, right? He had 3 or 4 girls. He was like, I admire all these women. I'd like to get to know them. And so he did like, I think 4 coffee dates in a week. And man, when they found out, they were
Trouble.
fired up. They did not tolerate that at all. He was this like bad, all he was doing was like buying them coffee and like asking how their day had gone or whatever. So
Very different.
but that was totally the norm back then.
Totally the norm. You'd have a church date, you'd have a Wednesday night date, you'd go to Wendy's before Wednesday night, peak of the week we had here on campus back then. And so you would date a lot of different people.
Now, when you go on a date, tell us what this is like. The guy picks you up, he pays for things, you hold hands, all that kind of stuff.
I didn't say you held hands.
Oh, well, God forbid.
I mean, that's like the next
We did that kind of
step.
stuff. We did that kind of stuff in the 90s. We held hands. We
You
were
might
pretty
have
wild.
held hands, but maybe later in the process. But people would just ask you out. I mean, people would call back then. We had phones, in the room. We didn't have mobile
right.
phones, and people would call your room and they'd ask you out on a date. And sometimes you didn't actually know who they were. So I was at a football game once at the beginning of my freshman year, and I said, "Hey, that number guy is cute." And then he called me and he said, "This is number so-and-so. Do you want to go on a date?" And I said, "Okay, how am I going to know who you are?" He said, this is what I'll be wearing.
I'll wear my football jersey.
Yeah,
my
he's like, I'll be the
jersey.
cute one.
Yeah, I'll be the cute one.
You'll spot me.
So some dates would be more casual. A lot of people, almost every Sunday, you might have a church date.
Tell me what a church date looks like.
They pick you up, take you to church, and usually take you to lunch, sometimes in the cafeteria. But if it was, extra, you might go to Captain D's or
Oh, right. Really bougie. Little fast food fish action.
That's right. And I don't know, it all just worked out. I think if you went on a lot of dates with a single person, but you might go on 3 or 4 dates to kind of see, is there a connection here? And if yes, you might continue on. If no,
So, like, I know when I was here, I did that. I showed up on campus. I wasn't dating anybody. People who know me know I was desperately in love with this girl from my high school named Jenny Sharon. But she went to school somewhere else, and I did not think I was going to see her ever again, which was very stupid because it was only in Conway, but that was how my brain worked. And I'd always dated girls in high school, but it was usually like you'd have a girlfriend. Like it wasn't so much like, let me take you out and buy you dinner, and then next week I'll take someone. Maybe like for the prom or something, you would take somebody out. But I got here in the fall of '99. It was we called it Impact back then. And I remember my cousin was a energy group leader.
yes,
Also have
that's what
energy
we
group?
Yeah,
had.
we do. EGLs.
Yeah, EGLs, right? We just called them energy groups. So she had my senior picture, and she said to her little group, she said, "My cousin's here. He's a freshman. He's cute. He's looking for a date." And there was this girl in her group was like, looked at the photo and was like, "I'll date him." And I took her out like that week. Like, I mean, I think it was like 2 days later. But then pretty soon, like she was my girlfriend within like, I don't know, a couple days. Like we went out on a date, then we went on a second date, and then it was like, okay, she's my girlfriend. And that was more the norm. Like it wasn't a bunch of casual dating like my parents would talk about, or like when I hear Robin saying even in the 80s. It was, you would date more than they do now, but you would sort of like, okay, yeah, we've been on a few dates. But Reed, tell us what it's like today.
The biggest difference is that we've added a new stage. So there's not like, it sounds to me like you guys both had casual dating and then a serious commitment. We have a stage before that now, the talking stage.
Talking.
And so that is like, so we talk, you talked about a guy will just call you and you'll go. That does still happen a lot. Like a guy will just like message you on Instagram or like get your number from a friend.
They call it sliding into
Sliding
the
into your DMs.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
always,
We're
old people
pretty
are proud.
hipster. We
We
know
like
that.
knowing the lingo from 5 years
And
ago.
that's kind of, so that's a little 5 years ago, situation. But I mean, people still say it just kind of more as a joke instead of.
That's how we were saying it, wasn't it, Robin?
Yeah,
we were
funny.
joking.
We were
Yeah,
joking.
okay,
good.
Yes,
Just
old
making
news.
Sorry, Reed.
Old,
Yeah.
old news.
So that does still happen sometimes, but a lot of times when someone does slide into someone's DMs, that leads to like texting back and forth for like a week and then asking somebody out.
And do you text just like, how's your day? Or do you like do little funny things? Or do you
kind
say
of-
like, I like the way your eyes sparkle?
It kind
Like, what
of
do people
depends.
do?
It kind of
Send
depends on the
gifs.
person, but it also depends on like how forward you are. But it's weird because it's like the people that are really forward in the talking stage. It's like, well, then just ask them out, you know. So it's like even that is kind of a little bit fake.
Tell me what a forward person might text.
I don't like it, a lot. Okay, a lot of people do like send pictures back and forth, like Snapchat, things like that. I don't even have Snapchat. I just never got it.
You're
So
going to heaven. We got it. But these bad people.
and so
She's a good girl.
but a lot like complimenting a picture instead of just talking about
I see.
instead of
Yeah.
just talking about like how's your day, how's like, oh, you look really good in that picture, or you look really good today,
that makes
or
sense.
that kind of thing. So it's like actual compliments instead of just
And
asking about
physical
your
ones too.
Yes, usually.
Robin, when someone would call you up to take you to a church date or a football game or whatever it was, Wendy's and Captain D, he's elegant.
Very exciting.
Going out.
We did have some Little Rock dates. In
Yeah. When they would do that, would they say, like, would it be unusual for them to say something like, oh, you look nice, or I like that dress? Like, is that part of it that's kind of like physical compliments that Reed's talking about?
Unfortunately, I can't really remember that. I think that might have been part of it, but I think it was just to get to know you. Who are you? What are you interested in? You know, what club are you in? What do you enjoy? What's your major? Where are you headed? All that sort of stuff.
So, Reed, that y'all have the talking stage, and then eventually someone will text and say,
Yes, like, do you want to go out and get coffee? Do you want to do this? And that's why talking about that guy, and I know that it was different. It sounds like he just reached out to those girls, but that's why it's.
but they got my friend who had the coffee date.
Yes. What a lot of people are used to now is that there's a lot more. There's more of a relationship before that, and I don't mean a romantic relationship. I just mean they know more about each other and they feel more of a connection than we used to before the first date. So it's
little
not even
possession, a little bit like exclusivity.
It's like it's like we've been talking for a couple weeks. And so sometimes that's like dates are kind of mixed in there, but it's not just you've gone out with a person 4 times. It's I've gone out with a person 4 times and we text constantly. And we're always in communication. That's where the possession comes in. And that's why people feel like they have like ownership of someone or like the right to be upset when they go out with someone else.
Yeah, probably. I mean, ownership
you're
sounds like
talking to
bad.
me.
It does, but like I don't mean it necessarily
I'd be
in a
upset
bad
if
way.
they went out. A claim upon
Yes,
them.
a claim upon someone. And also it's a lot of times because guys or girls don't say I am seeing other people. And so they make it seem they never actually say I'm seeing like I'm not like oh I'm not seeing it. It's not that they lie, it's just that they don't tell them that they're not. And so then you feel like you've been lied to. But in reality,
did the 2 guys that you dated 3 guys in a week, did 2 of those guys be like, oh, you liar?
no. But I did well, I'll stop.
Oh, there's something good there.
We'll tell when the tape is not rolling, we'll get that story.
It's almost like you, through texting, maybe do what a few casual dates would have
Exactly.
done, and we didn't have texting.
It's so like you skip those, and it's
Yes.
there's already some sense of commitment by the time you go on that first
Right.
date, you know. And that's not for everybody. That there are still lots of people that will just text you, and that's the first time you meet is going out on a date. So that's still very common, but especially in between dates, there's a lot of texting.
When I was here, a book had just come out that's sort of like a joke now in like conservative Christian world. The book was called I Kissed Dating Goodbye. I think it came out the year before I got here, maybe 2 years anyway. So this book was like a big critique of dating. And it was like, you should be doing courting. And what that meant was you like became friends with somebody, you talked, you always went on group group trips together. And you don't like anything physical is like out, you know, it was very bad. And then, you know, this like almost saved my first kiss until the wedding and all this kind of stuff. And I remember when I was a student here, there were a lot of people were reading that book. I say a lot. Some people were reading that book.
Yeah.
It's popular.
And it was mostly girls. And in my dorm, the guys all got together and agreed that if we saw a girl with that book, none of us would talk.
She's on the no
Yeah,
list.
we were like, no, because we wanted to just kill this book because we thought it was disastrous. But we, like, how did you, think about how we met people? What we did when you arrived, like people, Facebook exists, and that is a website and a social, the original kind of social media platform, MySpace, whatever, notwithstanding. But it was the first like real deal social media site. And
I
that's
am
how
kind of wondering, do you know what MySpace is?
Yes.
Yeah. But so Facebook got its name because when you came to college in the old days, they gave you a Facebook,
Yes.
a face finder. And it was kind of like a high school yearbook. It was the senior class, and it just had their name and their photo. Senior class, the freshman class, I should say. Just the name and the photo. And so what we would do is I don't know I think the girls did this too, but the guys certainly, we got that, and we would sit together and go through. Robin, we would circle. Now, you had a
Well, I
list.
didn't have pictures.
Oh, it's worse. So we would go through. We would circle names, and we would say, okay, this person and this
Yes,
person,
yes.
and you didn't know these people, but you're like, okay, I want to meet her. And so I remember being excited. I went to a class, and one of the girls that I had circled we had different names for it, the Chicktionary.
Do tell.
was
Yeah, do
one.
tell.
The Chicktionary, we called it. There were other things too that I'm not going to say on the podcast. But anyway, we would go through and we would and so there's some girl that we had all like, oh yeah. And then she was in my class, and I heard the professor call her name on the first day of class because we had the face finder during Impact. And they called her name, and I was like, okay, what's she look like in real life? Because I've just seen this photo, or like that girl that I dated, because my cousin had my senior photo. That was a thing. Like you would show your senior photo to people.
So what happened if you asked one of those people out? Could your friends ask them out too? Or was it, this is my list, that's your list, and we cannot cross lists?
Yeah, that's a good question. It probably was, it would be like a bit of a competition. And I think that was the case some before. Like if you and your roommate asked the same girl out within 2 weeks or something, it'd be a little bit of tension.
Awkward.
So we didn't do that, but it was like we were all, going for the same ones. Like, okay, I'm going to meet her. I'm going to ask her out, or she's too intimidating and I'm not going to ask her out. I remember Hannah Carpenter, Heath's wife, was here. She was Hannah Alexander then. And I think she was the very first person in the book, but I knew her. People said her dad's the dean of Bible. So I was like, I'm scared to meet this person. And, there were other people that you got to know. Then during Bible class, you would meet people, or during English class or whatever, you would just make friends with people, and then you would take your friends out. But there were also, I think this is something similar, is club functions. So did you do club functions, and you had dates for club functions, Robin?
Club functions, yep. You had dates. It seems like now more people go as friend groups sometimes.
Yeah, a lot of people still, a lot of people will invite, I would invite a girl, or a guy would invite a guy just as a funny thing. But that is still, I think that's the way that we have kind of that's the one thing we've kept, I feel like, is since it's under the umbrella of a club function, there's no pressure. And so
you gotta have
you
somebody
can
to take with you.
So you can invite the hot guy or the really pretty girl because it's just a club function, and so that's I think that's still something that a lot of people do.
And I remember when I was here, I went on club function dates that were super casual, not romantic.
Yes,
and such.
yes.
But I think also people were more forward.
I think so,
now.
too.
I mean, back then than they are now. I have one of my friends took this girl. She was great, and we were kind of friends with her, and she was cute. He took her to a play or a concert or something, but she thought they were just going as friends.
Yeah,
and he was like, "Okay, I'm gonna make my move," and so he on the armrest reached over and put his hand on her hand, so she moved her hand. But that was she just moved her hand, and that was kind of like sometimes students say, how do you know if a girl likes you? And they want to talk about everything. And I'm always like, you actually have these bodies,
Signals.
nonverbals. If she's sitting close enough that your arms are touching, then that probably means something.
Yeah.
If she's not, that probably means something too.
Yeah.
This guy was kind of a little tone deaf, so he put his hand, and she moved her hand. And then he waited a while, and I think he kind of thought was she really moving it? Did she know? So he tried it again. Anyway, I don't know how many tried it 2-3 times anyway. And eventually she picked his hand up and moved it and said, no.
That's very
so
clear.
they didn't go out again.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we
Very
mocked
clear.
him for years for that.
Clear as kind. I like that.
Yeah, clear as kind. So what's that like, Reed, for you guys, ooh, you have to have a talk about it? It seems like I hear students, they want to verbalize everything, get permission and things like that.
Yeah, for physical stuff.
Yeah,
like
if these guys are I'm gonna ask her if I can kiss her. Robin, did anyone ever say to you, "May I kiss you"?
No,
No, that was
they
for
have
us,
not.
too. Yeah, it was very weird. But I hear that from young people sometimes.
It's kind of a thing, but I don't think that, especially with like hand holding and stuff like that, that's not really. And it's usually not like. It's usually like as someone's going in for a kiss. Like it's not like they're way back here.
Wait,
and then,
they're like. Oh, is this okay? Is that
I'm coming in. I'm coming in. Is
don't
this
know.
okay?
That sounds very awkward.
I know. I personally don't know from personal experience, but I would assume that it's not. That's what my friends have talked about, and people do talk about it in a positive way. Like, oh, he asked, like in as it's like a courteous thing. They felt respected. Yes.
They ask on text. I mean, I've heard about
On
students who
text?
like they text and they say like, I think, is it okay if I kiss you tomorrow or whatever? Like they make like a schedule.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to make that face, but I don't know anyone that's done that.
Okay.
I think that's a little, but some people might want that, I guess, but
Well, and I will say,
You don't think that's a great move?
I would not find that attractive personally.
Yes, I would not find that attractive either. But I do think it's tricky and somewhat complicated in today's environment with Title IX.
Yeah,
because
compliance officer.
I know,
Yes.
not to, bring us down, but
That's right.
To get consent, you have to have consent before you kiss somebody. Really, maybe not really, maybe before you hold their hand, but possibly, but for sure before you would kiss somebody. And the law says you have to have consent before. So what words are actions? It doesn't have to be words; it could be actions. So I think moving your hand is pretty clear. But I think people. I mean, I don't know if males and females, that makes them nervous, or I don't even know if people think about that. But I think
I
it's
think
bigger.
I think dudes think about it a lot. Like, I don't want to be seen as a creeper or
Exactly.
a predator, so
Not
I'm
consensual.
more hesitant.
Yeah.
And then I hear female students be like, "Why are these guys so scared all the time?" I feel like that's a tension that was more the opposite when I was here. It was girls who were like, "Why are these guys so forward?"
Right.
And now I hear the opposite.
I think it's probably, and not to just be like, I think that there are some girls that are like that, and there are some girls that aren't, and the same with guys. And so it's hard to know what you're going to get. And so I think it's safer to not be more forward, because if someone wants you to be forward but you're not, they're just going to be like, oh, I wish you'd be more forward. But if you're forward when they don't want you to be, it's like, oh, you did something without my consent.
And it's
like,
a really bad thing.
It's a much bigger deal one way than the other. So I think they're just trying to stay safe.
And I think that's like, even that language of safe feels very this generation.
Yes.
That was not the language we would use. And I think about like my parents' generation, they would talk about like, oh, yeah, he tried to kiss. My mother would be like, he tried to kiss me and I had to slap him. But then the guy didn't go home and be like, oh, no, I'm a monster. He's like, I guess she doesn't like me. So, and there's dangers with that. There were bad things that happened with that. There's things that go on this generation too. Mm-hmm. Well, this is too fun. We should do a follow-up with this.
Yeah.
Because this is a fun topic and you guys are so great to have on. But I am watching our time and we're running out of time. So I want to ask one final question. Robin, if you were giving advice to young people dating today, as someone say, here's something we used to do that I think, I'm glad it's not like this anymore, but I think this is good. They should bring this back. What's some advice you might give?
Well, I liked that we dated a lot. I think it gave you a chance to meet a lot of different people while you're in this environment. You're never going to be in this environment again with this many people who have similar goals, values, beliefs as you do. So I say get out there. It doesn't have to look the same. It doesn't have to be a date. But I think that was a very good thing that we did.
Yeah, the thing I would say that I do say a lot is safety is good, but courage is also a good.
That's right.
And dating is scary and rejection hurts, but it's a good thing. It's good to practice that. And so be brave, I think, is the advice I would give. Reed, what do you say?
That.
Stop texting. Seriously. Like that's something that I've fallen victim to in past relationships, and it becomes this precedent and you feel like you have to be in constant communication. I think that there are obviously really great things that have come from being able to contact someone immediately just for safety reasons. But if you are knowing what's going through someone's head every second of every day, that's probably not good.
right.
So, and it gives you nothing else to talk about when you do go on those dates and when you are hanging out. And it just, it creates this pressure to always be texting. And if you're not, maybe you're doing something wrong or maybe you should be. And so that would be my advice.
Wise
Great,
words.
great advice from great guests. Thank you guys for being on
Thank
today.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you.
See you guys next time on With Honors.